The morning sun filtered through the floor-to-ceiling windows of the luxury penthouse, casting long shadows across the marble floors. Rosa wiped down the kitchen counters, her hands moving in practiced circles. She had been working for the Hartley family for almost 3 years now, and she knew every corner of this massive apartment better than her own tiny room in Queens. From the living room, she could hear the soft sound of a spoon clinking against a bowl. Little Lily sat at the dining table, pushing her cereal around without eating. The child was 7 years old, with dark curly hair that always seemed to escape whatever ponytail Rosa tried to tie. But what struck people most about Lily wasn't her appearance. It was her silence. Rosa walked over and sat beside her. "Not hungry this morning, little one?" Lily shook her head slightly but didn't look up. She rarely spoke, even to Rosa. The doctors had examined her multiple times. There was nothing physically wrong. She simply chose not to talk. Or perhaps Rosa thought she had given up trying to be heard. Mr. and Mrs. Hartley had already left for the day. It was barely 8 in the morning, but they had a breakfast meeting in Manhattan, followed by a charity luncheon, then a gallery opening in the evening. Their calendars were always full. Rosa couldn't remember the last time either of them had sat down for a meal with their daughter. "How about we get you dressed? Maybe we can do something special today." For the first time that morning, Lily's eyes lifted to meet Rosa's. There was a flicker of curiosity there. Rosa had come to America from the Philippines 6 years ago. Back home, she had been studying music at the university. Piano was her passion. But when her father got sick, she had to make a choice. She left everything behind, including her scholarship, and came to New York to work. She had noticed something about Lily early on. The girl might not speak, but she listened. Really listened. Whenever Rosa hummed while cleaning, Lily would stop and tilt her head, absorbing every note. Sometimes Rosa would catch the child tapping her fingers on surfaces, creating rhythms that were surprisingly complex for someone so young. One day, Rosa had been humming a lullaby her mother used to sing. She turned around to find Lily humming along, perfectly matching the melody. The girl had stopped immediately, her face turning red. But Rosa had seen it. There was something musical in this silent child. After getting Lily dressed, Rosa made a decision. She pulled out her phone and sent a text to Mrs. Hartley. "Taking Lily to the park for fresh air. We'll be back by 3 p.m. The response came within seconds. "Fine, make sure she wears sunscreen. Not have fun or give her a kiss for me. Just a reminder about sunscreen." They took the elevator down from the 40th floor. The doorman, James, smiled at them as they passed. "Beautiful day out there, Rosa." The city was alive with its usual energy. Yellow cabs honked, people rushed past with coffee cups, street vendors called out their offerings. Rosa held Lily's hand firmly as they walked. They walked several blocks before reaching the park. Trees lined the pathways, creating a canopy of green overhead. Other children played on the playground, their laughter filling the air. Lily watched them but made no move to join in. She didn't know how to play their games. "Let's walk a bit more," Rosa suggested. They followed a winding path deeper into the park. Street performers dotted the area. A man painted portraits. A woman sold jewelry. A young guy played guitar. Lily seemed fascinated by all of it. Then Rosa heard it. Piano music, clear and beautiful, drifting through the air. She followed the sound and Lily followed her. Around a bend, they found it. A public piano, painted in bright colors with flowers and butterflies decorating its sides. It was part of a community art project. An elderly man was playing something classical, his fingers dancing across the keys. A small crowd had gathered. When he finished, people clapped and dropped money into a hat. He smiled, stood up, and walked away. The piano sat empty. Rosa felt Lily's hand tighten around hers. She looked down to see the girl staring at the instrument with an intensity she had never seen before. "Do you want to take a closer look?" Lily nodded, still not taking her eyes off the piano. They approached slowly. Rosa expected Lily to just touch it, maybe press a key or two. But the girl did something that made Rosa's heart stop. She climbed onto the bench, positioned her small hands over the keys, and began to play. Not random banging. Real music. A real piece. Rosa recognized it immediately. Chopin, one of the nocturnes. Complex, emotional, requiring years of training. And Lily was playing it. Not perfectly, but the feeling was there. The understanding of the music was there. Rosa's hand flew to her mouth. She felt tears spring to her eyes. Around them, people stopped walking. Heads turned. Phones came out. Within moments, a crowd began to form. How was this possible? Someone had taught her. But who? The Hartleys didn't have a piano in their penthouse. Lily continued playing, and Rosa watched her face transform. The usual blank expression was gone. In its place was something raw and real. Pain, joy, longing. All the emotions the child couldn't express in words were pouring out through the music. Rosa thought about her own journey with music. How it had been her voice when she felt voiceless. She was seeing that same connection now in Lily. The crowd grew larger. An older woman stood with tears on her cheeks. A young couple held hands swaying to the music. A businessman had stopped mid-call, completely captivated. Rosa noticed a man recording with his phone. Normally, she might have worried. The Hartleys valued their privacy. But in this moment, Rosa couldn't bring herself to care. This moment belonged to Lily. The piece came to its end. Lily's fingers moved through the final phrases. And then, with one last gentle chord, it was over. For a moment, there was complete silence. Then the crowd erupted in applause. People cheered. Some rushed forward to drop money near the piano. Others just clapped, grateful to have witnessed something beautiful. Rosa quickly moved to Lily, wanting to shield her from the attention. The girl looked overwhelmed, her eyes wide, breathing quick. Rosa sat beside her and pulled her into a hug. "That was beautiful," Rosa whispered. So beautiful." Lily buried her face in Rosa's shoulder. Her small body was trembling. "It's okay," Rosa murmured. "We can go somewhere quiet now." As the crowd dispersed, still talking excitedly, Rosa helped Lily down from the bench. They walked away, following a path to a quieter part of the park. They found a bench under a large oak tree. They sat together in silence for a while. Rosa didn't push Lily to talk. She had learned that silence could be comfortable, but she had so many questions. Finally, Lily tugged on Rosa's sleeve. When Rosa looked down, the girl was pulling a small notepad and pen from her backpack. Lily wrote something and showed it to Rosa. "Grandma Rose taught me." Rosa felt her chest tighten. Grandma Rose, Mrs. Hartley's mother. She had passed away about a year ago. Rosa remembered the funeral, remembered how the Hartleys had moved on quickly. She remembered Lily at the funeral, silent as always, holding a white rose. "Your grandmother taught you piano?" Lily nodded, her eyes filling with tears. She wrote more. "Secret lessons. Every week. She said music would be my voice." Rosa pulled the girl close. Now it all made sense. The musical tapping. The way Lily responded to melodies. Grandma Rose had seen what no one else noticed. She had given Lily a gift. "What happened to the piano?" Lily wrote again. "At Grandma's apartment. Mom and Dad didn't know. After she died, they sold everything. The piano is gone. I haven't played since." Rosa felt her heart break. The Hartleys had been so busy with their own grief that they never stopped to think about how their daughter was coping. "You're so talented," Rosa said. "Your grandmother gave you something precious. That doesn't go away. It's inside you now." Lily looked up at her, and for the first time since Rosa had known her, the girl smiled. Really smiled. Rosa made a decision. She didn't know how yet, but she was going to find a way for Lily to play again. This child needed music. Rosa would do whatever it took to help her. Rosa and Lily stayed in the park for another hour, sitting quietly under the oak tree. Every few minutes, Lily would write something in her notepad. Little memories about her grandmother. How Grandma Rose used to make hot chocolate after every piano lesson. How she would clap even when Lily made mistakes. How she said music wasn't about being perfect, it was about feeling. Rosa's heart ached listening to these stories. This little girl had lost someone who truly understood her, and nobody in her family seemed to notice how much she was hurting. As they walked back to the penthouse, Rosa noticed Lily seemed lighter somehow. She was still quiet, still holding Rosa's hand tightly, but there was something different, like a weight had been lifted even if just a little. When they got home, Lily went to her room without being asked. Rosa started preparing dinner, even though she knew the Hartleys probably wouldn't be home to eat it. They rarely were. She made chicken soup with Star's pasta and called her to the kitchen. Lily ate better than she had in weeks. Rosa watched her, smiling. Music had done this. One performance, one moment of expression, and the child was already coming back to life. That evening, after Lily went to bed, Rosa sat in her small room scrolling through her phone. She was curious if anyone had posted videos from the park. It didn't take long to find them. She typed "Park Piano Girl" into the search bar, and her screen filled with results. Her hand started shaking as she clicked on the first video. There was Lily, looking so small on that piano bench, her fingers moving across the keys. The video had been posted just a few hours ago. 50,000 views already. Her stomach dropped. She clicked on another video. Same performance, different angle. 100,000 views. Then another. 200,000. The comments were pouring in. Who is this child? Absolutely beautiful. This made me cry. Rosa felt panic rising in her chest. This wasn't supposed to happen. She had just wanted Lily to have a moment of joy. She hadn't thought about phones and videos and the internet. She knew she should tell the Hartleys. But it was almost 10 at night and they still weren't home. She sent Mrs. Hartley a text. Need to speak with you about something important. Can you call when you have a moment? The response came 20 minutes later. Is Lily all right? Yes, she's fine, sleeping. But something happened today we should discuss. Can it wait until tomorrow? We're at a dinner event. Rosa stared at the message. Even when she said it was important, they couldn't spare 10 minutes. Yes, it can wait, she typed back. She barely slept that night. She kept checking her phone, watching the view counts climb higher. By morning, the most popular video had over 1 million views. 1 million people had watched Lily play. Rosa got up early and made breakfast. When Lily came out of her room, Rosa noticed something she hadn't seen in a long time. The girl was humming, quietly, almost to herself, but she was humming the Chopin piece she'd played yesterday. Good morning, little one, Rosa said softly. Lily smiled at her and sat down for breakfast. She actually ate her whole meal without being prompted. Rosa wanted to enjoy this moment, this small victory, but the worry in her stomach wouldn't go away. The Hartleys finally came home around 11 in the morning. They both looked exhausted, still wearing their clothes from the night before. Mr. Hartley went straight to his office for a conference call. Mrs. Hartley kicked off her heels and collapsed on the living room couch. You needed to talk to me about something, she asked, closing her eyes. Rosa took a deep breath. Yesterday I took Lily to the park. There was a public piano there and she played it. She's very talented, Mrs. Hartley, incredibly talented. Mrs. Hartley opened one eye. Lily played piano? That's impossible. She's never had lessons. Actually, she has. Your mother was teaching her. Secret lessons at her apartment every week for over a year. Mrs. Hartley sat up straight now, both eyes open wide. What? My mother never said anything about that. Lily told me yesterday. She wrote it down. They were keeping it as their special thing. After your mother passed away and her apartment was cleared out, Lily lost access to the piano. She hasn't played since. Until yesterday. Mrs. Hartley stood up and started pacing. Rosa could see different emotions crossing her face. Surprise, confusion, something that might have been guilt. Why wouldn't my mother tell me? Why would they keep it a secret? Rosa chose her words carefully. I think maybe your mother knew that Lily needed something that was just hers. Something private, but I'm her mother. I should have known. I should have. Mrs. Hartley stopped mid-sentence, her hand going to her mouth. Rosa could see tears forming in her eyes. There's something else, Rosa said quietly. People were recording her at the park. The videos are online. They're going viral. Millions of people have seen them. The sadness on Mrs. Hartley's face disappeared instantly, replaced by panic. What? Show me. Rosa pulled out her phone and showed her the videos. Mrs. Hartley watched in silence, her face getting paler with each one. When the video ended, she stood frozen for a moment. Richard, she called out. Richard, you need to see this right now. Mr. Hartley came out of his office looking annoyed. I'm on an important call, Catherine. Hang up. This is more important. Something in her voice made him listen. He ended his call and walked over. Mrs. Hartley played one of the videos for him. Rosa watched his face change as he saw his daughter playing piano in a public park, watched by hundreds of strangers. When did this happen? He asked, his voice dangerously quiet. Yesterday, Rosa said. I took her to the park. I didn't know she could play. I didn't know people would record her. I'm so sorry. You took my daughter out without proper security? You let her perform in public like some street musician? Do you have any idea what you've done? His voice was getting louder with each question. Richard, wait, Mrs. Hartley said, putting a hand on his arm. Look at the video. Really look at it. He watched again, this time more carefully. Rosa saw the moment it hit him. His daughter, his quiet, withdrawn daughter, was playing like a professional, with feeling and skill that didn't come from nowhere. His expression shifted from anger to confusion to something Rosa couldn't quite read. "She's really good," he said quietly. "She's more than good," Mrs. Hartley said. "She's extraordinary. And we had no idea. My mother was teaching her for over a year and we never knew." They both stood there in silence, staring at the phone screen. Rosa felt like she should leave them alone, but she was afraid to move. "Play it again," Mr. Hartley said. Mrs. Hartley replayed the video. This time they both watched until the very end, through all the applause, until Lily stood up from the bench. "Look how happy she looks," Mrs. Hartley whispered. "When's the last time we saw her look like that?" Rosa saw Mr. Hartley's jaw tighten. He turned away from them, walking toward the window. He stood there for a long moment looking out at the city below. "We need to talk to her," he finally said. "We need to understand what's been going on." But before anyone could move, Lily appeared in the hallway. She was still in her pajamas, holding her notepad. She must have heard them talking. Her eyes were wide, darting between her parents and Rosa. Rosa wanted to go to her, to comfort her, but she felt frozen in place. "Lily," Mrs. Hartley said, her voice shaky. "Sweetheart, come here." Lily didn't move. She looked scared, like she'd been caught doing something wrong. Mr. Hartley turned around and knelt down. Rosa had never seen him do that before. He was always so formal, so distant. "Lily, you're not in trouble. We just want to talk. Please come here." Slowly, carefully, Lily walked toward them. When she reached her father, he did something Rosa had never seen in 3 years. He pulled his daughter into a hug. Mrs. Hartley sat down on the floor next to her husband and daughter. Rosa had never seen her do that before. Designer clothes on the hardwood floor, not caring about wrinkles. She reached out and touched Lily's hair. "We're sorry, sweetheart," she said softly. "We should have been paying more attention. We should have known about you and Grandma Rose." Lily pulled back from her father's hug and looked at both her parents. Then she opened her notepad and started writing. Her hand moved quickly, like she'd been waiting a long time to say these things. When she finished, she turned the notepad around. "I didn't want to bother you. You're always busy. Grandma said it was okay to have secrets sometimes. After she died, I tried to tell you, but you were sad and busy. Then you sold her piano. I thought you didn't want me to play." Rosa watched Mrs. Hartley's face crumble. Tears started falling. Mr. Hartley closed his eyes and took a deep breath. "We did want you to play," Mr. Hartley finally said. "We just didn't know. We didn't know how much it meant to you. That's our fault, not yours. You never bothered us, Lily. Never." Lily looked at him with those big brown eyes, trying to decide whether to believe him. "Show us the videos again," Mrs. Hartley said, wiping her eyes. Rosa handed over her phone. The three of them sat together on the floor watching video after video. With each one, Rosa saw pride mixed with regret on the parents' faces. The comments, Mrs. Hartley said. "Listen to this. This child is a genius. Someone needs to nurture this talent." "Richard, these are serious musicians commenting." Mr. Hartley read silently. "There are music producers here, talent scouts, music schools wanting to reach out. What do we do?" Mrs. Hartley asked. Rosa cleared her throat. "Maybe we should ask Lily what she wants." They both looked at Rosa, then at their daughter. "Lily," Mr. Hartley said gently, "do you want to keep playing piano?" Lily nodded so hard her whole body moved. Then she grabbed the notepad. "More than anything, I dream about it every night. I hear music in my head all the time. When Grandma died, the music got louder, but I had no way to let it out." Mrs. Hartley made a sound that was half laugh, half sob. "We're going to fix this. I promise. We need a piano," Mr. Hartley said, standing up. "Today, right now." "Richard, it's Sunday, I don't care. I'll make calls." He was already pulling out his phone. This was the businessman side of him, Rosa knew. But this time he was using that power for his daughter. Within an hour, Mr. Hartley had arranged for a piano store to open just for them. He insisted Rosa and Lily come along. They all got into the family car. The drive was quiet but comfortable. Lily sat between her parents in the back seat, holding both their hands. Rosa sat up front, feeling strange about this whole situation. The piano store owner was waiting when they arrived. He was an older man with kind eyes who didn't seem bothered about opening his store on a Sunday. "Welcome," he said. I understand we're looking for a piano for a very talented young lady. He led them into the showroom. Pianos of all sizes filled the space. Lily's eyes went wide. She walked slowly between the instruments, touching them gently. Do you know what kind your grandmother had? Mrs. Hartley asked. Lily nodded and pointed to a beautiful grand piano in the corner. Dark wood, elegant curves, the kind that belonged in a concert hall. Can you play something for us? The store owner asked. Lily looked at her parents nervously. Mrs. Hartley smiled. It's okay, sweetheart. Rosa watched as Lily climbed onto the bench. The girl ran her fingers over the keys without pressing down, just feeling them. Then she closed her eyes and began. She played a different piece this time, something lighter, happier. Rosa recognized it as one of Mozart's sonatas. The music filled the store, bright and clear. The store owner's eyebrows went up in surprise. Mr. and Mrs. Hartley stood perfectly still, watching their daughter with amazement. When Lily finished, the store owner started clapping. Remarkable. Truly remarkable. Your mother taught you well, young lady. Actually, Mrs. Hartley said quietly, her grandmother taught her. We didn't even know she could play until yesterday. The store owner looked surprised but said nothing. He was too professional for that. We'll take this one, Mr. Hartley said without hesitation. How soon can you deliver it? For something this special? I'll have my team deliver it this evening. We'll set it up in your home tonight. Perfect. Mr. Hartley pulled out his wallet. We'll handle the paperwork later. Right now, let your daughter enjoy the instrument. Lily played 3 more pieces while they were there, each one more beautiful than the last. Rosa saw other people gathering outside the store windows, attracted by the music. Some were taking photos through the glass. The viral moment was continuing, but this time Rosa didn't feel panic. This time felt right. On the drive home, Mrs. Hartley turned to Rosa. Thank you. For taking her to the park. For letting her play. For seeing what we couldn't see. Rosa didn't know what to say. She's a special girl. She always has been. We want to do right by her, Mr. Hartley said. We want to give her the opportunities she deserves. But we don't know where to start. Music isn't our world. It's mine, Rosa said quietly. Or it was. Before I came here. Both Hartleys looked at her with surprise. You play piano? Mrs. Hartley asked. I studied music in the Philippines. Piano was my focus. I was training to be a concert pianist. Then my father got sick and the medical bills came. I needed to work, so I came here to send money home. There was a long pause. Rosa worried she'd said too much. She was the maid. She wasn't supposed to have dreams or talents of her own. Rosa, Mr. Hartley said slowly, his voice thoughtful. Would you consider helping Lily? Teaching her? Or at least guiding her until we can find proper instruction? I'm not qualified to teach someone at her level. She needs a real professional, someone who knows what they're doing. But until we find that person, would you work with her? Would you help her practice? Guide her? Rosa looked at Lily through the rearview mirror. The girl was watching her with hopeful eyes. How could she say no to that face? Of course. I would love that. That evening, the piano arrived. 6 men carefully moved it into the penthouse, positioning it by the windows where the light was best. It took them almost an hour to get it placed perfectly. Lily watched every moment of the process, bouncing on her toes with excitement. She looked like any normal 7-year-old on Christmas morning. When they finally left and the piano sat perfectly in place, Lily walked up to it slowly, like she was approaching something sacred. She touched the keys, pressed one note, then another. The sound filled the penthouse, rich and full. Then she turned and looked at Rosa with a question in her eyes. Play something with me? Rosa asked, understanding without words. Lily nodded eagerly, her whole face lighting up. They sat side by side on the bench. Rosa started a simple duet, something she remembered from her own childhood lessons back in the Philippines. Lily picked up her part immediately, following Rosa's lead perfectly. Their hands moved across the keys together, creating something beautiful. 4 hands, 2 hearts, 1 piece of music. Mr. and Mrs. Hartley watched from the doorway. For the first time since Rosa had worked for them, they looked like a real family, not perfect but present, not distant but there. Mrs. Hartley leaned against her husband's shoulder and he put his arm around her. When the duet ended, Lily did something that made everyone freeze. She turned to face her parents and Rosa. Then she opened her mouth and spoke. Her voice was small and raspy from not being used much, but it was clear as a bell. Thank you. 2 simple words. But they meant everything. The next morning, everything felt different in the Hartley household. Rosa woke up early as usual, but when she walked into the kitchen, she found Mr. Hartley already there, making coffee. In 3 years, she had never seen him make his own coffee. "Good morning, Rosa," he said. "Would you like some?" "Thank you, sir." She accepted the cup, unsure what to make of this new version of her employer. "I've been thinking about what you said yesterday. About your music training. About giving it up to come here." Rosa wrapped her hands around the warm mug. It was a long time ago. Was it worth it? Giving up your dream? The question caught her off guard. My father needed help. My family needed money, so yes, it was worth it. But I miss it every day, Mr. Hartley nodded. I've spent 3 years watching you take care of my daughter. You've been more present in her life than I have. You were working, providing for your family. I was hiding, he said quietly. After Catherine's mother died, I threw myself into work because I didn't know how to deal with grief. Catherine did the same with her social events. We left Lily to handle it alone. A 7-year-old grieving her grandmother, and we weren't there. But you were there, he continued. You saw her? You gave her music back. I want to change things, Rosa. I want to be the father Lily deserves. And you're not just our employee. You're part of this family now. Before Rosa could respond, they heard piano music drifting from the living room. Both of them smiled. Lily was already at the piano. They walked to the living room and found Lily at the piano in her pajamas, completely absorbed in the music. Mrs. Hartley was sitting on the couch nearby, watching with tears in her eyes. She's been playing for an hour, Mrs. Hartley whispered. She woke up and went straight to the piano. For the next few days, life centered around music. Lily played every morning before school and every evening after. Rosa worked with her, teaching her techniques, helping her refine her skills. The girl was a sponge. The Hartleys started coming home earlier. Mr. Hartley rearranged his schedule to have dinner with the family every night. Mrs. Hartley canceled social events. They would sit and listen to Lily practice, trying to understand this part of their daughter's life they'd missed. But the outside world hadn't forgotten about the viral video. The phones wouldn't stop ringing. Reporters wanted interviews. Music schools wanted to offer scholarships. A concert hall wanted Lily to perform at a charity event. It was overwhelming. One evening, about a week after the piano arrived, there was a knock at the door. Rosa answered it to find a well-dressed man in his 50s with kind eyes. Hello, my name is David Chen. I'm a music producer. I've been trying to reach the Hartley family about their daughter. I was at the park that day. Rosa hesitated. Wait here, please. She found Mr. Hartley in his office. There's a music producer at the door. He saw Lily play in the park. Mr. Hartley's jaw tightened. Tell him we're not interested. Richard, Mrs. Hartley appeared in the doorway. Maybe we should hear what he has to say. We don't know anything about the music world. After a moment, Mr. Hartley nodded. Fine. David Chen came in and sat down in the living room. Lily stopped playing when she saw the stranger. Thank you for seeing me, David said. I know you've had dozens of people reaching out. I'm not here to exploit your daughter. I saw something extraordinary that day. What do you want? Mr. Hartley asked, his voice protective. I want to help. I've been in the music industry for 30 years. Your daughter has a gift that comes along once in a lifetime. He looked at Lily. May I hear you play? Lily looked at her parents. Mrs. Hartley nodded. It's okay, sweetheart. Lily turned to the piano and began playing. She chose a piece by Debussy, something dreamy and emotional. The room fell silent. When she finished, David said, She's not just talented. She feels the music. She understands it on a level most people never reach. What are you suggesting? Mrs. Hartley asked. Your daughter needs proper training. The best teacher I know is Professor Williams. She rarely takes new students, but I can arrange a meeting. We don't want Lily exploited, Mr. Hartley said firmly. We don't want her turned into some performing monkey. Neither do I. I have a daughter myself. This isn't about money or viral fame. This is about giving a gifted child the tools to develop her talent properly. Mrs. Hartley looked at Lily. What do you think, sweetheart? Do you want to meet this teacher? Lily grabbed her notepad and wrote quickly. Will Rosa still help me too? David smiled. Of course. If Rosa is willing, she could work alongside the professor. Having someone Lily trusts would be perfect. I don't know if I'm good enough for that, Rosa said quietly. You gave her music back to her, Mrs. Hartley said. That makes you more than good enough. Over the next hour, they discussed the details. David explained how the academy worked, what training would involve, how they could protect Lily's privacy. He showed them videos of other students Professor Williams had taught. The Hartleys asked question after question. How many hours of practice? Would Lily still have time for school? For friends? For being a kid? David answered everything patiently, emphasizing the goal was to nurture Lily's gift, not consume her life. There's one more thing, David said as he was preparing to leave. The charity concert at Lincoln Hall. They're still hoping Lily might perform. It's for a children's hospital. All proceeds go to music therapy programs for sick kids. No pressure, but it might be good experience. She'd be helping other children through music. Mr. Hartley looked uncertain. That's a lot of pressure for a 7-year-old. It is, David agreed. Which is why I'm leaving it completely up to you and Lily. Can we think about it? Mr. Hartley asked. Of course. Take all the time you need. After David left, the family sat together in the living room. Lily was back at the piano playing softly while the adults talked. What do we do? Mrs. Hartley asked, her voice uncertain. We let Lily decide, Mr. Hartley said. He walked over to his daughter and knelt beside the piano bench. Lily, do you want to do this? The lessons with this new teacher, maybe the concert? Lily stopped playing. She looked at Rosa, then at her parents. Then she spoke, her voice still quiet but getting stronger each time she used it. I want to play. I want to learn. But I'm scared. Mrs. Hartley joined them, sitting on the floor. What are you scared of, baby? What if I'm not good enough? What if I disappoint everyone? Rosa came over and sat on the bench next to Lily. Listen to me. You could never disappoint us. You play because you love it, not to prove anything. The moment it stops being fun, we stop, okay? Lily looked at her and nodded slowly. Then let's try, Mr. Hartley said gently. We'll meet this Professor Williams. We'll see if it feels right, and we'll all be there with you. If you want to stop, we stop. No questions asked. What about the concert? Lily asked. Mrs. Hartley thought for a moment. What does your heart tell you? Lily was quiet, her fingers resting on the keys. Grandma Rose always said music is meant to be shared. She said when you share music, you share a piece of your soul, and that's how you connect with people. Rosa blinked back tears. This little girl was finding her voice in the most beautiful way. Then maybe, Lily continued, maybe I should play. For the sick kids. Because if music helped me feel better when I was sad about Grandma, maybe it can help them feel better too. Lily smiled and threw her arms around her father's neck. He held her tight. Mrs. Hartley wrapped her arms around both of them. Rosa started to step back, but Mrs. Hartley reached out and grabbed her hand. You too, Rosa, you're part of this, and so Rosa joined them. This family that had once been so broken, now holding each other close. The next few weeks flew by in a blur of piano lessons, practice sessions, and preparations. Professor Williams turned out to be exactly what Lily needed. She was strict but kind, pushing Lily to be better while never making her feel inadequate. Rosa was there for every lesson, bridging the gap between the demanding professor and the sensitive child. Lily was speaking more now. Not constantly, but enough. She would tell Rosa about her day at school, ask questions about music, even joke with her parents at dinner. The change was remarkable. The charity concert was scheduled for a Saturday evening in early spring. As the date approached, Lily was getting nervous. She would wake up at night and go to the piano, playing softly in the dark. Rosa would find her there and sit beside her. What if I mess up? Lily asked one night. What if everyone is disappointed? Then you mess up, Rosa said simply. And the world keeps turning. Lily, the people coming aren't coming to judge you. They're coming to support sick children. Whatever you play will be enough. Will you be there? In the audience? Wild horses couldn't keep me away. Lily smiled and leaned against Rosa's shoulder. I'm glad you took me to the park that day. Me too, little one. Me too. The morning of the concert, the penthouse was buzzing with activity. Mrs. Hartley had hired a stylist, but she made sure to ask Lily's opinion on everything. The dress they chose was simple and elegant, deep blue with little stars embroidered along the hem. Rosa helped Lily with her hair, braiding it the way Grandma Rose used to. As she worked, she told Lily about her own first performance in the Philippines, how nervous she'd been. What made you stay? Lily asked. I remembered why I was playing. Not for the audience, but because music made me feel alive. Once I remembered that, my hands stopped shaking. I'll remember that too, Lily said quietly. The car ride to Lincoln Hall was quiet, everyone lost in their own thoughts. Rosa held Lily's hand the whole way. When they arrived at the concert hall, Rosa was stunned by its beauty. The building was historic with grand columns. Inside, rows of velvet seats faced a massive stage with a grand piano in the center, spotlit like a jewel. David was waiting backstage. "You look beautiful, Lily. Are you ready?" Lily nodded, though her face was pale. "Remember," Professor Williams said, "you're not performing for them. You're sharing with them. There's a difference." The concert hall was filling up. Rosa peeked through the curtain and saw hundreds of people. Music teachers, professional pianists, people touched by the viral video, but also families with children, some in wheelchairs or with visible illnesses. These were the families from the hospital who would benefit from the concert. There were other performers first. A young violinist, then a teenage cellist. Each performance was beautiful. But Rosa could feel the anticipation building. Everyone was waiting for Lily. Finally, David walked onto the stage. The crowd quieted. "Our final performer tonight needs no introduction," he said. "Many of you met her through a video that went viral." What you didn't know was the story behind that moment. Lily had lost her grandmother, who had secretly taught her to play. That day in the park was the first time she'd played in a year. Tonight, Lily is here to share her gift and help raise money for music therapy programs at Children's Memorial Hospital. Please welcome Lily Hartley. The applause was thunderous. Rosa squeezed Lily's hand. "You've got this. We're all right here." Lily walked onto the stage, looking so small under the lights. She sat at the piano, adjusted the bench, and placed her hands over the keys. For a moment, she just sat there. The audience was completely silent. Then Lily turned slightly and looked toward the wings, finding Rosa's eyes. Rosa smiled and nodded. Lily turned back to the piano, closed her eyes, and began to play. She started with the Chopin piece from the park. But this time it was even more beautiful. Every note was clear and intentional. Rosa could hear Lily's grief in the minor chords, her hope in the rising melody, her love in the gentle passages. The audience was transfixed. Nobody moved. Even the children sat perfectly still. When the Chopin ended, there was a brief pause. Then Lily began the Mozart piece, lighter and more playful. Rosa saw some children start to smile, their feet tapping along, but the third piece made Rosa's heart stop. Lily began playing a Filipino lullaby, one Rosa had hummed countless times around the penthouse. Lily had been listening, and now she was playing it back, transformed into something beautiful. Rosa felt tears streaming down her face. Mrs. Hartley, standing beside her, grabbed her hand and squeezed. On Rosa's other side, Mr. Hartley was wiping his eyes. When the music finally ended, there was a moment of absolute silence. Then the entire concert hall erupted. People were on their feet, clapping, cheering, some crying. The applause went on and on. Lily stood up from the piano and took a small bow like Professor Williams had taught her. Then she did something no one expected. She walked to the microphone at the front of the stage. "Thank you," she said, her small voice somehow carrying through the hall. "I played that last song for Rosa. She's my friend. She took me to the park that day. She helped me find my music again, when I thought it was lost forever." Sometimes the people who help us the most aren't the ones we expect. Sometimes they're the ones who see us when everyone else looks away. Rosa couldn't see anything through her tears now. Mrs. Hartley pulled her into a hug, and Rosa could feel the woman shaking with emotion. Lily continued, her voice getting stronger. "My grandma used to say that music is a bridge between hearts. Tonight I wanted to build that bridge. To everyone here, to the kids in the hospital, and to my grandma, wherever she is. I hope she heard me." The applause somehow got even louder. Lily smiled, a real genuine smile that lit up her whole face, and walked off the stage. She went straight to Rosa and wrapped her arms around her waist. "I did it," she whispered. "You did more than that." Rosa whispered back, "You were magnificent." Later that night, after the reception, after meeting dozens of people who told Lily how much her playing had moved them, they returned home. Lily fell asleep in the car, her head on Rosa's shoulder. Mr. Hartley carried her inside and tucked her into bed. Then he and Mrs. Hartley invited Rosa to sit with them. "Rosa," Mr. Hartley began, "these past few weeks have shown us how wrong we've been. About Lily, about our priorities. We want to make changes," Mrs. Hartley continued. "Real changes. We're cutting back on work and social obligations, but we also realize we need to change your role here. Rosa's heart sank. Were they letting her go? We'd like you to continue helping Lily with her music, Mr. Hartley said. Not as our maid, but as her mentor. We'll triple your salary. We'll also pay for you to continue your own music education. Rosa stared at them, unable to speak. You gave us our daughter back, Mrs. Hartley said. You saw her when we were too blind to look. We can never repay that, but we want to try. Say yes, Mr. Hartley said with a smile. Rosa nodded, tears falling. Yes, thank you, yes. That night Rosa lay in bed thinking about how much had changed. A few weeks ago she'd been invisible. Now she was family. Her dreams weren't dead after all, just sleeping. In the next room Lily slept peacefully, and somewhere Rosa liked to think Grandma Rose was smiling, knowing that music had brought a broken family back together. Sometimes the most beautiful symphonies come from unexpected places. Sometimes a simple trip to the park can change everything. And sometimes the bridges we build connect us in ways we never imagined possible.